Hello, everyone, and welcome to Learn a Trade. My name is Kevin Tate. Thank you for joining me today. Today's broadcast, I'm going to be going over the Star chili cheese machine. This chili cheese machine is a model HPDE2. They also have an HPDE1, which is just a single product. This one here is a double product for chili and cheese. It doesn't really matter which side, but it's a chili cheese machine. So these are the machines you usually see in most of the convenience stores nowadays, and you see them at smaller family-owned stores too, mom and pop shops and stuff like that. So they are pretty popular, and you will run across them out there in the field if most of you haven't already ran across them. But today I wanted to go over the components of the Star chili cheese machine. And let me give you a little backstory on this unit. This unit came from a customer of mine that uh, basically had issues with his past service company, and they weren't able to fix it or figure out why it wasn't heating. So he was gonna throw it away. So I was in his store, and I asked him about it, and I asked him why he had it out, next to the dumpster, because he had put it out already to throw it out, and he said he was just tired of it, and he was just threw it out and said he was just gonna replace it with another one. So I took it, and figured I could figure out what's going on with it, afterwards. But for now, I figured it would be a good thing for a video to go ahead and go through this, to see some of the components, the main components of this unit, so that you become more familiar with it and stuff when you come across them. If you're new in the field and you haven't come across these yet, you're definitely going to come across these out there in the field, and it'll help to know a little bit about it, a little bit about what to look out for. So let's get started. I'm going to go into the first thing is the push buttons that you see. These are the push buttons, the dispense buttons that dispense the product. They activate the motor to rotate, and then the motor rotates, and from there it turns a tube, a tube wheel that rolls on the tube and pushes the product out. And then down here we have our on-off switch. Okay, this on-off switch, I don't know if you can see it from there, but it's red when it's on. It's got the color red on the bottom when it's on, and then it's black on the top when it's off. Now they no longer use these type of switches. Now it's the same type of a switch, but they're lighted now. So the replacement switch for these is a lighted replacement switch. So it'll be a lighted switch. It won't be one like this with the red and the black. And then right over here we have our main controller. This is our main controller, and I don't have this on right now because I have it unplugged and everything, because I haven't really tested this out. I've just taken it apart, just to get it set up to do this. But I at some other point I'll do something where I'll show you the operation of this, and I'll show you how to set it and everything like that, because these should be have a set temp of 150. All right, and we'll move on. So that's the main controller. So let's open the door up here, and the way this door closes and locks in like that is this latch. It's a magnetic latch right there. So you have a magnetic latch that catches that door and pulls it in. This one right here is a little loose. You can see when I do go through it to fix everything, I will tighten that. I will adjust it and tighten it. Make sure it sits. See if I can get this door to kind of stay open for me. See how that works. This button right here, this is a little switch right here that it presses in and presses in like that. That's so that when you close this door, it meets up with this tube cover right here. And this tube cover is very important because that switch, when it presses it in, that allows those two switches on the other side of the door, the two push buttons, the dispense switches, that switch will allow those to operate. If this door is open in any way where that switch is not pushed in, it won't activate. The dispense buttons won't activate these wheels right here. Okay. The pump heads, these are called pump heads. So that's very important, this piece right here, this tube cover. It slides out like this, slides in and out. Okay, it's easy to remove. It has the two ports for the tubes to fit through right here. And again, this is a very important piece because the thing about these is if this isn't in, number one, these switches aren't going to work. Okay, as you can see right here, you can see the mark right here. Somebody put duct tape over this switch. I don't know who did it. I don't know if the owner did it or what, but they put duct tape, and that's what you'll usually find. I'm just gonna pull that off so I can keep it from opening up on me. Okay, so you see that duct tape on there? People will do that. You'll see that they'll have that over it because they don't want to go and purchase the piece that they need. So be aware of that. This is called a tube cover, and this is very important because if this isn't in, place, it's a couple of things. Number one, it won't activate those switches there. It won't allow that to happen. Number two is you'll get a bunch of calls or complaints that the chili cheese machine is not hot enough. It's not keeping the heat, not keeping the temperature. And usually what that is because somebody's pulled this out to go and clean it or whatever, and they misplaced it or they just forgot to put it back. So it's important to remember this piece, that if it's not in there, the unit's not going to heat correctly. It's not going to keep heat. And then also you'll probably find that they either have a piece of cardboard taped up there, taped down against that switch so that people can still get cheese, because they don't want to go and purchase this. This piece right here, runs for over $300. You could check it out on like Partstown or something like that, or even Google tube cover assembly for a Star chili cheese machine. These go for $300 and more. $300 or a little more. So the customers, a lot of times they won't go and get that. They won't get that replaced. They'll try to rig something up and do it like that, and then so that's what they were doing with this, because this didn't have a cover. This is just a cover that I happen to have. So that's one thing that you should note down and try to remember if you're out there in the field, because it's important. So let's get back to this here. Let's go to these wheels right here. All right. These are called pump heads. I just call them dispense wheels, but you could call them pump heads. It's fine. That's what they're described as in their manual. But these are what pushes out the product. and I'm just got a lot of cleaning to do on this thing, but I'm just gonna pull these off so you can see how it comes off. But you see that knob screw comes off, and then this just slides right off. Okay, and behind this is the motor, which you'll see in a few. It's just the pump head motor or a drive motor, you could call it. So this all pulls off because the customer is supposed to clean these. And then this right here is your block assembly. Okay, this is your block assembly, and now this slides right out. Okay, see how that slides in and out just like that. Easy slide. And let me just show you. See the little stainless steel V right in there? That V plate? That plate right there is very important because this plate has to be facing up all the time in order for the unit to dispense correctly. So just make sure that you have that block is in there with the silver piece facing up, because you will get calls. Excuse me 1 minute. Let me just set that aside for now. You will get calls where the customer will say, the chili cheese is not coming out right, or the dispenser's not working right. And then you'll go there and you'll see that they took these out and they cleaned them or whatever, and when they went to put them back, they put them back in upside down because they'll fit like that too. So and the customer just doesn't notice, so they're in upside down. So now what that does is when this end is facing up, it's going to pinch the tube instead of giving it the space that it needs to be able to sit correctly so that the product can go through the tube. It's just a little rubber, rubber material that is used for the tube that goes through there. So when it's put in upside down, that ends up pinching off the product line. So you want to make sure you check that. That's another good tip for you, to make sure you check your block assemblies to make sure they're in correctly with the silver piece facing up. So you're going to have two of these pump heads. We'll take this one off too. Just that little screw knob like that. Okay. And then the pump head just pulls right off. And then this is the assembly block, and that was in correctly with the silver piece facing up. Put that aside. And then here you have your two springs. So what these springs do is, let me do this. Put the assembly block in. I'll put this back on. Okay, the wheel's back on. I'll just get this in a little bit. I just want to show you how this goes. And then the customer, they're going to put it in like that, and they're going to have the tube, and then they're going to run the tube down through this slot right here, and then push back on the assembly block. Then they're going to get the tube in and guide it down here so that it's facing out. And then once they got that in place there, they're going to take this spring right here. This spring pushes against the assembly block and against the pump head. So once it starts going, this is just going to turn, and then it's going to push out the product right out there. So that's how that works. So this is just a spring assembly that goes on there, and this can be removed as well. Just undo those those two screw knobs right there, and then that pulls right off. But I usually you usually don't have to remove that to get at what you need to get at. And usually you just need to they just need to get at these. There are times that you might run into it where someone may have misplaced this because they decided to take it off for some reason or the other, or they didn't know how to disassemble it, so they had taken that off first or something. But usually the customer doesn't even bother that. So that's what we have all up front. Okay, we had our two dispense switches, our safety switch on the back side of that door assembly. You have your door catch. It's a magnetic door catch, and then you had your two pump heads, and we had our two assembly blocks, and we have the two springs. So that's basically all the parts up front, you know. And then let me just move this around, and then I'm gonna spin it around so you can see the inside, and then I'll be able to show you why this wasn't working, and you'll be surprised. Well, you probably won't be surprised. If you've been out in the field, you probably won't be surprised. But basically, it's like a common thing that you find with things, and you know it just never surprises me nowadays, the things that you come across. Let me just get this door back in. Okay. Give it a little turn. All right. So some of you might end up spotting what I was talking about before I get through it, but let's just go through these here. Right here we have our blower fan. This is our blower fan. Okay. Right up here, think you can see it. Right up here is the heaters. Okay, it's just one heater, and that heater is right behind the fan right here, right behind the fan, right there. So it heats up. This fan blows, and it's blowing the air, the hot air, forward into the cabinet area. Okay. And then so we have our high limit. This is our high limit thermostat. Okay. And this is rated at 165 degrees. Excuse me. So just remember that this is rated for 165 degrees. If you ever are looking for the thermostat or something like that, or you have a thermostat that is similar to this, you want to make sure it's rated for 165 degrees, because on these you set the set point at 145 or 150. I usually go with 150, but some other technicians, they will go with they'll put it at 145 for some reason. But I mean, it's fine, whichever works, as long as it's keeping it above 140. And then down here you have your you have your two motors, and this you might notice that there's a color difference in the like the cooling fans of it. One's white and one's black. I was told by the manufacturer that that's to identify the sides of it, the right side or the left side. I don't see where it made a difference, because they're the same motors, and It doesn't seem like they have a different rotation, but it might be that might be what it is. It might have a different rotation. That's all I could come up with. I'll have to look into that a little more, but that was just one question that came to my mind. Again, back here, you already see that, like right over here is this, that's the power switch right in the corner here. And right in this corner, you have your, that's the back of the controller. Okay, that's the back of the main controller. And everything looks decent in there. The wiring looks good and everything. So that looks like it's in good shape. And if you ever had to change the controller, just remember that you can get to that right back here. There's some release yellow, like yellow or white release tabs on it, and you can get those, squeeze those, and then the controller will push out towards the front. So it pushes out through the front. So if you ever have to change one of those, honestly, I really don't change a lot of those anymore because um, in the long run, the controller ends up costing more than the equipment is worth. So most commercial customers will just get a new they'll get a new unit instead of paying whatever it is for the controllers, because the last I checked, it's been a couple of years now, but the last I checked, they were between 600 to $1,000, depending on if you were able to get one that was brand new or a second hand. So a lot of customers won't, if they find out that it needs a controller, they won't bother with it. They'll usually tell you to take it or replace it. So that's just some information for you to know. And so those are our two motors, our controller, our heating element is right here, and we have our high limit and our fan back here. And then down here you have your terminal block where all of the wiring meets. You have your input wires right here, white, black, and green. Those connect in to the terminal block. And then you have your wires from the power switch coming in, and then the wires going to your high limit and your controller. And then right here you have your ground, which I noticed this ground wire is very loose right here. So that's one thing that I'm gonna fix also, is that loose. They got a loose wire right there. And let me see if I can just move the camera over here so I can show you what really was causing this not to heat. If you haven't spotted it already, you guys may have already spotted it. But you see in there, the white wire was just dangling. That's it goes right here on the heating element, on this side of the heating element. When I first took this off, it was just hanging right there. So I'm gonna put that back in place, and do it now. I'm not gonna turn it on today or anything like that, but because I still want to go over this some more and clean it up. See, let me put this back in place. But that's why it wasn't heating. At least that's from not really testing it yet. That's what I think it is. I'm pretty sure. I am pretty sure that that's why it's like that. Let me take a look. Okay, yeah, it looks like they may have arced. They may have arced against this wire. I did check this with my meter, and I had 22 ohms. good continuity on this heating element. So it looks like someone may have hit that with their screwdriver or something. Yeah, it looks like I got 22. Yeah, I got 22 ohms on that. So I have continuity and I have a good reading. So I'm assuming that someone may have arced across this wire, the white wire, on the terminal. So I'm probably gonna end up replacing the terminal itself. I just want to make sure it goes on there good and secure. Let me just check it. If not, I'm just gonna change the whole terminal. Yeah, it looks like they may have arced against this. There's no telling because you don't really know who's out there working on stuff, and again, that's why you want to be, pretty cautious when you're working on things that have been worked on before, because you never can't be too sure on what's going to go on with that. So this one here, I'm going to end up replacing this terminal. I'm going to put a whole new terminal in there. I'm going to put an insulated terminal probably, and then I'll get this back up and running. But I at least wanted us to go through and get to see the components at least, So the black terminal is fine. So I'm just going to end up replacing that, and that may have been the whole problem. Maybe whoever was working on it didn't have the terminal to replace it with, and they couldn't get it back on. There's no telling. But yeah, that's basically how it works. That's just about all there is to this chili cheese machine, and I pretty much went over everything that can go wrong with it. The heater, or either the heater will go bad or something, and you seldom ever see that either. So, I mean, I haven't seen that a whole lot in my time. But mainly, what I do find is that tube cover that I showed you, the black tube cover, that comes off, or somebody pulls it off and they forget to put it back, so the unit doesn't heat well, and then the product won't dispense out, or they have a problem with a bad power switch. The power switch isn't sending power to it, to the components. You might run into issues with the motor, a seized motor. So that's something that you would carry. You carry one or two of those, depending on how many customers you have on hand. But you at least want to have two available so you can get to them. But those don't go that often. These high limit thermostats, they do go from time to time also. So you want to keep some of those too on your van. And then these controllers, that's going to be up to you. That's going to be up to you. That's going to be up to your budget, as far as being in business for yourself. If you're a technician that's working for a company, there might be a company that does carry those on hand, on each van, and that more than likely they'll probably only keep one or two on each van, maybe maybe just one on each van, or some companies now, they won't carry any of those controllers because they're so expensive. So what they'll do is if there is a need for a controller, then they'll go ahead and quote out to the customer a price, including the price of that controller. And then most times the customer, depending on who they are, who the customer is, if it's like a mom and pop shop, they're not gonna, a lot of times they're just gonna say, well, we'll just get another one, something like that, because it's too expensive to pay for the part and the labor of replacing a controller. So, I mean, a lot of times with the big name convenience stores, they just have them swapped out. They just have them send them a new one. So it depends, but you do want to keep some of that on hand and go from there. But for now, that's all I have. I just wanted to go over these components, and I will do another video on this where I repair everything that's in need of it, and then I'll put it back in operation, and I'll do something where you can see it work. I probably won't have any chili or cheese, but that's all right. I mean, at least you'll see it work. So that's all I have for now, everyone. I thank you for watching this. I appreciate your support. I appreciate your good comments, your comments on YouTube, and by all means, go and check out the website www.learnatrade.online, or you can also send me an email with any comments or any questions you might have and stuff like that. I wish you all the best of luck in your journey and the getting into the commercial side of things, and I wish you the best. May you all stay well and be blessed. Thanks for watching.